Cloudland had literally nothing to do with Lisa Frank. Like, nothing. I wasn't inspired by Lisa Frank when I was making Cloudland. Let me just clear that up. I was a fan of Lisa Frank as a child. I was born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s and the aughts in the 2000s. And as a little kid, I was a fan of Lisa Frank and I had the stickers and I had all that stuff. But Cloudland had nothing to do with that. It was my own ideas, my own love for the colors I had been working with the whole time. If you look back in my career with tassels and the content that I had shared prior and how I dressed and my hair, Cloudland was just an expression of all of that. Now, I have no problem with talking about things that inspired me, but when I made Cloudland, Lisa Frank wasn't really a reference. You know who was a reference? Care Bears was a reference. Sanrio, Hello Kitty, My Little Pony was a reference. And then I had recently really gotten into Tokidoki. That was a reference. I was like collecting unicornos and stuff, you know? Those were the things I was into at the time. And also spring, which is like my favorite time of year. Those were the core influences. I actually hadn't thought about Lisa Frank until she started following me on social media. In 2020, right after I lost Cloudland and during the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement, Lisa Frank took to Instagram to opportunistically post a black square in faux solidarity. And it was more than I could handle. I lost it and I started calling them out directly on Instagram. They then replied with a vile post accusing me of doing the very thing that they themselves were doing. Their tone-deaf response completely backfired, and they denied everything. That was pretty much the extent of our communication. At the same time all of this was happening, I was dealing with a similar issue from an entirely different huge brand, MGA, the maker of Bratz dolls and LOL Surprise dolls. I hired a lawyer to protect myself, and I was really not okay at the time and extremely vulnerable to scams. That whole story is just as wild as this one, and I'll share it another time. But what I will say is that I paid a lawyer a lot of money to tell me that there was absolutely nothing I could do about the Lisa Frank situation. At that point, I decided that the best way for me to fight back was to keep moving forward.